Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna make a quick implementation for the custom throwable object for the torch and axe, as well as creating the animations for it. So let's start creating a new script here that will inherit from the throwable object. That is, it's called timed gravity throwable object. And here, what I'm gonna do is basically just, of course, inherit from this class, so this won't be sealed anymore. So let's just inherit throwable object. Let's actually just move to this namespace right here. Uh, Inherit from the throwable. Make this variable protected, and as well as making this virtual. Protected, virtual, because I'm gonna override this method and add some additional logic here. And here, instead of movement speed, I'm gonna rename it to throw force. It's frost, but let's just throw force. Actually, just throw velocity. That's better. And here on the timed gravity, I'm also gonna override this method right here. So this is gonna be virtual. So here in the timed gravity throwable object, I'm gonna override these two methods. Apply movement. Uh, I'm still gonna call the base call for the apply movement and the on-disable. Um, because I want to reuse this logic right here. But now what I'm gonna do is create a new I enumerator. Say let's call this start falling after delay. So let's reuse this. Here I'm gonna create two variables, start float, um, gravity scale, and another one called gravity float delay before fall. Uh, I also gonna have a read only wait for seconds here. Let's just call fall delay equals to new. Uh, Actually, I'm gonna use new right here on the on validate, and it's gonna be fall delay is equals to new wait for seconds on the delay before fall. Of course, this isn't gonna be read only since I'll be editing on inspector. And of course, cache this once we enter the awake method. So let's copy the same thing here. This onValidate is just for inspector, so when we can tweak the values if needed and update here. So let's just call the yield return for the fall delay. And after this, what we're going to do is get the rigid body and the gravity scale and set to the gravity scale. So let's call this coroutine right here. Start coroutine, this one right here. And once we disable the object, what we need to do is get the rigid body gravity scale and set to 0. Alright, that looks good. This will also be sealed. We won't be inherited from this class. So let's just make like this and go back to Unity. So here on the project, let's go to the weapons prefabs torch. Let's remove this throwable object and use the timed gravity throwable object. The throw velocity, I think, let's just use the same value as before, and let's say 2 and 0.7, I guess. 0.7. Alright, Of course, on the awake, we also need to reset this. So let's just make sure that it gets resetted. This value right here. Of course, we can set on the prefab. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. But just to make sure, let's set also there. So let's go here. Let's also uncheck the first position because since we're gonna be falling, we are gonna change the y-axis. So I think this is good for now. Let's test it. Back here. Let's set the default weapon as torch and press play. Alright, looks like we got an exception here. That is side the rigid body. Yeah, I forgot that I also need to override this virtual method. So let's, instead of making private, let's make protected virtual. Actually, override. And of course, call the base awake. Save this. Now let's throw this, and as you can see, uh, it's working. Alright, so I think this values here is good for the torch. So what I'm gonna do here is basically just copy this component and paste on the axis. That is basically the same thing. They share the same behavior. Let's check the first rotation, position actually, and I think it's good. So now what we need to do is create the animations for the torch and axis. So let's just create one here in the scene. Uh, Alright, so I think the animation is good. Let's see how it behaves in game. Let's apply this prefab, remove this, and press play again. Alright, it looks good. Of course, we need to disable the objects here. Not here, but we need to disable once they collide with anything actually. But for now, I think it's good. And one thing that I also noticed when playing the game is that for weapons like the torch and axe, the actual spawn point is a little higher than the standing one. Something like this. Uh, you can see it gets a difference here. I noticed that playing the game. We need to create another variable on the surface, but that's fine. Uh, I think we can do that later. For now, what I want to do is create the animation for the axe now. So let's do that right now. Alright, so let's test it. Apply this. Remove the object from here. Switch to the axis weapon. And it looks good. Of course, we can test uh, setting the throw up spawn point higher. And I think this is good for the animation and throw. For what I've seen, it's kind of similar to the original game. Maybe I need to adjust some values, but I think the logic it's kind of the same. So maybe it's just some tricks. Uh, but I think this is fine. Alright, so that's it for this video. I just wanted to make this custom behavior for the torch and axe. For the next one, I think I'm gonna expand the system when disabling the objects. Um, so let's say that this should be disabling the exit once it hits the ground. Same for the torch. And for the shield, it has a different logic where it has a max distance where it can travel the world. So we are gonna make that on the next video. But for now, I think it's working fine. And I think maybe will also create the particles when disabling the objects. I think it's only one for that, but I will also make that on the next video because it's part of disabling the object. So I'm also gonna do that. But that's for the next video, right? I hope you like it, and I'll see you on the next one.